All right, we are back live. Yeah, I was gonna do some work. I intended to, right? Like that Afro Man song. I was gonna do some work and then I got high. So that's basically, in a nutshell. I cannot confirm nor deny, but I am speculating, and that could very well be the case, right? It could very well be our unfortunate reality. I cannot confirm nor deny that, of course. I never would. You know, this is all for entertainment purposes only. But I hope you guys are doing well. I'm just having, kind of a long day. It's like, more tired than usual, right? I mean, just tired of jogger bullshit, lots of jogger bullshit. Lots of things to be tired of, but no, I mean, enjoying my time here in this zip code. Got a lot of things to improve upon here, but one thing we do like is, I do like the street lights when they work. There's a lot of them that don't work. Not quite sure why. That one doesn't work. That one don't work. We're not expecting perfection, but we are expecting progress, right? Yeah, the first thing in the city motto is people, right? People should come first, and unfortunately, people haven't come first in Wayne for a very long time. A great detriment to the city of Wayne. It is indeed. A lot of things going for itself in Wayne, right? A lot of good things going on in Wayne. Not entirely, a shit show, right? I mean, like I said, the businesses, the people, right, that aren't associated with, the department heads, the status quo, those people are, great people to be around. I mean, fantastic. It's unfortunate, everyone in Wayne seems to be overworked and overtaxed, right? So you don't get to enjoy people as much as you should be able to, right? Because obviously those taxes are going to pay themselves, and there's no relief in sight. It's just really going to be a forever increasing penalty for home ownership, right? Which is why I support Axe My Tax. I support anyone who doesn't take APAC money, right? So that's my standard, right? If you don't take APAC money, well, then you have my vote, right? I mean, I prefer people that don't take APAC money. So basically, as long as you're not a Jewish supremacy or a Jewish supremacist or a supporter of such ideology, then, we can probably get along. Probably. I'm not expecting you to acknowledge the whole truth and nothing but the truth, but I expect you to, reasonably, right? Reasonably know what's going on. We expect people to portray an honest effort, right? At least plausibly, right? I mean, we're not expecting perfection here, folks. Our standards aren't set very high. Believe me, we just want the very basic necessities, right? We want the the bare minimum. We want the bare minimum. We don't want a malicious prosecution. We don't want, you know, civil rights abusers, constitutional rights abusers. None of that. We don't want, a bloated bureaucracy, committee, department heads, right? I mean, just a bloated bureaucratic, inefficient, wasteful, counterproductive system. We want a balanced and, and we want an efficient system. We want direct representation. I mean, that's what people want. People want to have direct representation and actually be able to, communicate with their, elected representative and, feel like their voice matters, right? Their voice should matter. And for too long, they just simply haven't. And I don't know if we could vote our way out of it, right? I mean, we should try. But we got to get new and fresh faces on the city council. We need a lot of them, right? We need a vast majority, at least 5, 4. I mean, I don't know if 4 is enough, guys. I don't know. I don't even know if 5 is enough, right? I think you got to have 6 or 7. You got to have a majority, man, a super majority. And then you got to have a total cultural shock, right? Like imagine like you're cleaning a pool, right? Or you're cleaning a lake, right? And this algae built up. You got to shock the pool. You got to shock the pond, right? You got to kill the algae and the bad bacteria. And you have to promote the growth of good bacteria. So, I mean, we can equivalent it to, the city of Wayne, right? We've got to get rid of the bad bacteria and get more good bacteria. Because the bacteria is ultimately what matters. But it's got to be the right kind of bacteria. And, I think a limited form, small government, is necessary, right? I'm not an anti-government person as far as like, I don't think there should be any government at all. Someone's got to govern, and something has to apply the Constitution, and someone has to enforce the laws, right? There's got to be some order, right? Law and order. I'm not looking for anarchy. I'm not looking for, the city of Wayne has no option of a police force. I think there should be a police force of some sort, right? I just don't think it should be. It's kind of like Amazon, right? Amazon contracts out their liabilities, right? They deliver, they have DSPs, right? Deliver for them. They don't deliver directly. So, they got different things that they do to absolve themselves of liability, right? Which is ultimately should be the goal of any municipality, right? Is to limit your liability, limit your exposure. I mean, you lose control because you no longer, a city attorney or a rogue chief of police or deputy chief, right? A rogue department head or in this case, right? They can't weaponize. So there's a disadvantage to the status quo. Right? There's a disadvantage to them because they have a prerogative of being able to keep things in-house, so to speak, being able to have more control and more flexibility. If you contract out your police services to Westland or, Inkster, Romulus, Canton, or fucking Michigan State Police, Wayne County, whoever, that's forfeiting control, right? And obviously the city of Wade doesn't want to give up their control, right? I mean, that's That's something that is abundantly obvious. It's abundantly obvious that the city of Wayne wants to keep things in-house. They want to keep things under their own umbrella, so to speak. Which, of course, any crook, any deceitful person would want that. In a perfect world, we would like to have, I think I'm speaking for most taxpayers, most voters. We would like that. We like the idea of a police force, of having peace officers and, having someone there, locally, right? But as we've discovered, the performance of the Wayne PD is rather piss poor for what you're paying for it. And again, I believe wholeheartedly that the state police or the Wayne County Sheriff's Office or any police force for that matter, I mean any police force for that matter, hell, even a private security force, right? Anything, right, is better than what we have now. And certainly far cheaper, right? Because, the biggest complaint I get about the city of Wayne is that they don't deter crime, they don't stop crime, and as a matter of fact, they kind of promote crime, right? They promote civil rights violations, right? They promote constitutional abuses, certainly. I mean, they have a culture, right? A culture going back way farther than me, way farther than Blackwell, way farther than John Zook, way farther than Anthony Miller, back before Abraham Hughes. So it's dirty game for sure. It's a dirty game, and there's a lot of money being passed around, and there's a lot of shit going on behind the scenes, right? That just honestly people aren't, allowed to be privy to, right? The government, how it's currently set up in its current form, is designed to protect itself from the public. It's not designed to, promote transparency with the public or accountability. That's for certain. Public scrutiny obviously needs to be much higher and much greater than it is now. Because that's how things, that can certainly move the lever. But, that in itself isn't enough. I mean, you really need someone at the forefront who's willing to, fall on the sword, right? You got to have people willing to fall on the sword. But I think the more the barrier, I think the more the better. But yeah, I understand why people don't do it. I mean, especially in today's economy, right? Today's world. I understand why people, obviously it's pretty self-explanatory why people wouldn't want to fall on the sword. I mean, it's painful, and you probably die, and you either die or you're fucked up for life from it, so it's not a decision that people want to make lightly. But I mean, we're all mortars, right? We're all mortars in some way or some fashion. We're all mortars of our own life, right? And you're here one day and gone the next, right? And you never know when that day is going to be. And I don't know. I try to live pursuing a higher truth and a higher cause, right? But I love to think a little bit bigger and a little bit bolder, a little bit more abstract, a little bit more idealism, right? A little bit more optimism, right? A little bit more realism. But at the end of the day, apparently my fucking standards are just crazy high. I don't believe they are. I really, truly don't. I mean, I want a government that's efficient, that's small, that's committed, right, to serving you, right? And servant leadership, that's what I want. That's what I expect. Servant leadership is the bare minimum. That's the that's the gold standard. And we clearly don't have any military representation in the city of Wayne. Certainly, we got Brandon Braun, right? He's got the Mark Blackwell Glazing Award, right? He was glazed repeatedly by Mark Blackwell. Of course, I can point to you 10 residents who are vehemently opposed to, you know, Brandon Braun, and I have people that will tell you that he's broken into people's properties without warrants. So I don't know. It's like we're living in a different reality, right? The truth is right out in the open, uncensored for you to see. A lot of people, they I don't know, it's like they're desensitized to it, right? It's like we get desensitized to the corruption, and you know, we get in this sort of you know, we get exhausted, right, from it, and rightfully so. But it's important. It's very important in the grand scheme of things. It's far more important than, you know, what any of us know of, right? The people of the city of Wayne, Michigan, versus the Vincent Allen Leland McFarland Sr. That is a monumentous case, a monumentous defining case for the city of Wayne, Michigan, right? So once we receive the transcripts and everything, you know, we'll of course release that public for free, right? Accessible. Unredacted. Consumable basis. Try to keep it simple, right? I mean, it's just simple to just be transparent. It's not always fun. It's not always convenient. It's definitely stressful. It definitely has its, how do I say, disadvantages, right? But, I mean, I think it's more important than ever to, you know, talk about the uncomfortable subjects and topics, right? And, talk about it all. Talk about it all. You know, enough of the glazing, right? Enough of the glazing, and you know, we see that all the time down at the City of Wayne City Hall. It's really a glaze fest, right? We used to call them what? Circle jerks? I mean, I don't know. Do people still call them that? It's just a big old circle jerk in it. But you don't want that circle jerk, because there's some women that look like men, and some men that look like women, or act like women, or think like women, or shit, might as well be women. Really, it's like a room. Nobody wants to do anything. Everybody just wants to play this politically correct, you know, talk about the turkey and the deer bullshit, right? Turkey and the deer. You know, not actually talk about, you know, things that people really give a fuck about, right? People show up to hear about. Oh, they talk about the turkey and the deer. The meeting's got to stick to the script, right? The God fucking forbid if the meeting went off the rails a little bit, right? If people actually got to have an open dialogue, right? Holy shit, what a crazy thing that would be, right? to have an open dialogue and to have an interesting, interesting conversation, right? A thought-provoking, maybe both parties learn something, right? Holy fuck, wouldn't that be crazy? If there was a civic discourse, right? I mean, imagine how crazy that would be in Wayne, Michigan. If like you could talk to a human being to their face and they have to answer to you directly. Right? I mean, just think of how wild that would be. To have some accountability live, right? Direct. I mean, I know it's wishful thinking, guys. I know, it's fucking, mind-blowing shit, right? To have an open dialogue, an open discussion, right? No legalese, no pleading the fifth, none of that bullshit. I mean, just straight up civil discourse, open dialogue. Questions answered, questions asked, right? 12-inch dildo in your ass, whatever you want to call it. A discussion, right? An actual, people actually can leave with something, right? Instead of just like, this is pretty gay, right? Which is why nobody shows up to this meeting.
Hi, welcome to Burger King. How can I help you? You do not have no fries at the moment. We only have onion rings.
Okay, I got a pickup for Vince.
For who?
Vince?
Vince?
Yeah.
Vince, yeah.
I know, somebody else just said that they had the same pickup one.
It's the mobile delivery.
Oh, okay. Just pull forward if you can.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. BK, have it your way. Well, that's the title of this video. Well, that should be the title. I'll change it if it's not. But BK, have it your way, like the city of Wayne. It's like BK, right? That's what the city of Wayne should be, right? Because McDonald's is, sucking ass and, tanking their brand. And Wendy's is cooked. Wendy's is just totally fucked, right? So Wendy's and McDonald's, they're totally cooked. And Burger King is up in their game and, increasing their status in society. Burger King is, has their shit together and continues to, make it shit together, right? So shout out to Burger King, the new king of fast food, right? The new king of just like, you want a burger and fries from what used to be the big three, right? McDonald's, Wendy's, and Burger King. And Culver's is decent, right? But nothing really beats Burger King. I mean, honestly. The king, the home of the Whopper, right? So the thing I like about BK above all else is, the have it your way kind of thing, right? So, especially on the app, you can, order it however you want. So it's great. We love that. And that's what we want for the city of Wayne standard. I mean, I don't think, not having people smoke cancer sticks out in front of City Hall, that's some of the more egregious shit, right? That's like, some of the more low-hanging fruit. But, we don't want things that are just, obviously like open violations of the law. And, that's obviously a problem. But, we want to have a higher standard, right, for government employees. And I know that's kind of funny coming from me, but, someone's got to call a spade and say, hey, I go to Dearborn, I go to anywhere, Inkster, any surrounding city or municipality, and the quality of services are different. A lot of things are different. And so, that is, a problem, you know, and it's a noticeable difference, and it's a critical difference, right? The city of Wayne, it just doesn't have the people in place, the department heads in place. What up, Joe? 1867. Yeah, the department heads, you know, just aren't there, and you know, that's the most unfortunate thing, right? Is it's got the potential. It's not that big. You know, you got Ford, you got Smiles, you got, you know, Relief, you got, you know, Nature's Medicine, I think it is. You got some good, you know, businesses in Wayne. You got a solid, you know, group of people overall, but you have a really fucked, you know, department heads, right? I mean, all the departments, if I'm just gonna be frank with you, are fucked. Um, some worse than others. Some are certainly more fucked than others, right? Like the fire department's totally fucked. But if the fire department, I mean, we got to get real here. I mean, volunteer fire department at best is cool, I guess. You know, I mean, I think it's important. I think having a group of people who can put out fires is, yeah, obviously, you know, we like that, right? So I would want to turn it more into more than that, right? I think that's really an underutilization of a fireman or an EMT or a paramedic, right? I mean, those are skills, unfortunately, that everybody should have, but obviously not everybody has those skills. But we also, you know, I mean, we think we can get more, I mean, for our money. I mean, I certainly think that, you know, for a city this small to have a full-time fire department, it's kind of insane, right? Especially like you can contract EMS services um, already. I mean, I don't know. I don't see the point in it. You know, I mean, from just a simplicity standpoint. I mean, imagine like all that shit you don't have to manage and run and account for, and you know, be responsible for, right? Taxpayers, right? You as a taxpayer, you don't have to be responsible for some fucking rogue idiot, you know, employee or employees of the city of Wayne, right? You know, some make believe fire department, and you know, all we have 4,500 calls a year. Okay, tell me how many of those are structural fires? How many of those are actual emergencies, exigencies, legally speaking, right? An actual emergency. You know, not a bullshit neighbor complaint, not a bullshit, you know, smoke complaint or whatever, you know, fucking garbage. But, you know, an actual bona fide life or death situation. Out of 4,500 a year, I bet you it's less than 1%. Certainly for fires, right? So that alone, why do you need a fucking, you know, I don't know, 4 fire trucks? And seemed like Westland could take care of that, and it would just be a blip, you know. It'd be, you know, like consolidate it, right? I mean, save money, lower taxes, simplify government, right? An entire department you can just wipe out, boom. You can wipe out an entire department, or just refuse to fund it, right? And say, hey, you know, well, some of these things just, you know, unfortunately, they're not necessary, right? I mean, it's like you got people that, you know, quite frankly, I mean, a lot of these people are living high on the hog on the taxpayer dime. And they get, you know, they get complacent, they get comfortable, they get lazy, they get, you know, just like, you know, I mean, this isn't like, I mean, the city of Wayne aren't bad people because of human nature, right? This is a lot what they're doing, right? The city of Wayne, right? Like this is all human nature, right? Like, human beings are inherently, you know, kind of like lazy, but it's like more so like you look at it from an evolutionary standpoint. It's resourceful, right? Like the city of Wayne is trying to preserve itself, right? For one, because it is highly suspect and, you know, it should be more highly scrutinized, but it's becoming more scrutinized. which is good. But yeah, I think people should be questioning everything about the city of Wayne and what they've been up to, especially, I mean, at least go back 10 years, right? I mean, but I'd say 15, 20 will give you a better picture, 30, but you don't have to get that far back, just really the last 7 years, 6, 7 years, really the last 5, right? We'll just say 2021 onward, right? The last 5 years. I mean, that's some wild shit. It's some wild shit, guys, and we need better, right? We deserve better. Diane Webb's not the answer. Nothing about Diane Webb inspires confidence. And $200,000 a year is a lot of fucking money, dude. I mean, geez. I mean, you can hire 2 or 3 people, 4 people, right? With that type of money, definitely 2 or 3, or you can save 2 or 3, because someone will say, well, who's gonna do it, right? Well, I think a flat 100K, and I don't know, for a mayor position, if we got rid of the city manager, or we just reach, I mean, there's really 3 different types of structures of government. Yeah.
Name?
Vince?
Yeah, Vince.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
So, yeah, I mean, BK, have it your way, guys. I mean, I believe you can have it your way in the city of Wayne. You got to vote for it, and you got to advocate for it, and you got to stop accepting less, right? You have to have a high standard, right, for the place in which you live, which you should have highest standards for employees, right, and department heads, and everyone who's associated, right? Obviously, private citizens, different rules, right? So private citizens have the most rights out of anybody, and really taxpayers and property owners and the like, right? Like they have, I mean, we all have, like I said, private citizens have distinctly more rights than the government does. So it is a tough bitch, right? But it's a tough bitch because people just want to waste your time and not be honest, and just lie, deceit, delude themselves, and try to do it to others. Try to do it to others, right? And then try to lie to the courts, and falsify the ROA, and falsify the iChat background information, and yada 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 yada, etc., 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 etc. It's horrible shit when you think about how much money it's already cost the city of Wayne taxpayers, and then of course how much money it's gonna cost them going forward, right? Because all this dumbass, nonsensical, I'm gonna enforce, it's just the whole thing, right? It's bullshit. It's all bullshit, right? Unfortunately, that's the justice I get, right? I get to get justice by piecemeal, right? The city of Wayne gets to have unfettered power to, summon you to prison, right? Summon you into a cage, solitary confinement, 23-hour lockdown, 24-hour lockdown, right? I mean, you're talking no window, no TV, no nothing, just in solitary confinement by yourself, right? Or if you're lucky, right, with 4 other bums or 5 other bums or more. So, or just 1 other bum, right? So, I mean, I don't know. Just pure hell on earth, right? I mean, just imagine, right? Pure hell. Just pure, unadulterated, hell. I mean, torture. just being tortured for nothing, right? Tortured for a year. Well, 51 weeks, right? Not a year. Tortured for a year. We'll just call it a year, right? Because, you know, the whole thing started well before that. It was really a year and a half of torture, right? If we're being just, you know, as transparent as possible. You know, it was a year and a half of hell, but, you know, for simplicity's sake, right? Legality's sake, right? May 9th is when I was maliciously prosecuted by the city of Wayne, Michigan. So what led up to, you know, May, right? January, February, March, April, right? So those 4 months, right? Those are critical months. And, you know, what happened, what occurred, and, you know, what is the truth, right? What is actually the facts and what is actually the case versus a bona fide fucking lie, right? Which is what the city of Wayne perpetuated to the 35th District Court. And, you know, I mean, it was a citywide effort. I mean, you know, you're talking the court administrator, the deputy chief of police, the chief of police, Lieutenant Amori, Deputy Finley Carter, Ryan Strong, chief of police, and then a whole host of other, you know, sergeants and lieutenants, and patrolmen, right? So, I mean, just like a whole city implicated in multiple, I mean, dozens, right? Dozens of lawsuits because they simply, you know, refuse to accept no for an answer, right? I mean, you can't just walk into someone's backyard without a warrant, without consent, without exigent circumstances, being able to articulate it, without even enforcing an actual law, right? So enforcing a non-law policy, not codified, nothing, and, you know, then lying to a court, right? Lying to a court, and then, you know, the punitive bond conditions, and, you know, I mean, it's just the insanity of what the city of Wayne did, right? Their unreasonableness and their vindictiveness and their maliciousness. I mean, it cannot be understated. It really, you know, you get the transcripts, you get the ROA, you get everything, you get the reports, you get the police reports, the fire reports, you get everything, right? From May 9th to April 30th. And then you compile all that data, and then you're just like left with a fucking crystal clear picture. You know, you're left with the new example of malicious prosecution is, you know, I mean, because the layers of it, right? I mean, you're talking, you know, these people are charging me with felonies, they're charging me with misdemeanors, high-level misdemeanors punishable by 2 years in jail, which by any standard would have me go to a circuit court, right? Would have me go, you know, to a Wayne County prosecutor, and I mean, the circuit court at minimum, right? That my case should have been in the circuit court. The city of Wayne intentionally wanted to keep it at the district court level, right? They wanted to keep it. I mean, just they wanted to have their cake and eat it too, and it caught up to them, and, you know, I don't think they got really, I mean, they got off easy, but I mean, they got caught, right? And you know, they're going to continue to get caught, and they're going to continue to get caught with their pants down, and their micro penis is going to be exposed, and, you know, everyone's going to realize the truth, right? Which is that the city of Wayne is, you know, I mean, it's a lie, it's a joke. Unfortunately, it's a sick joke, and I believe that, you know, with enough persistence, you know, we can certainly turn it around. And we can certainly get, you know, people to respect, you know, private citizens again, right? To fear the people, right? And fear the people as far as, you know, you don't get to get away with violating people's rights on camera, openly, you know, repeatedly, right? With deliberate indifference, right? That's I don't know much, guys, but I know that it is critical that I, at the bare minimum, run for office every cycle I can. Every 2 years, right? Regardless, outcome, I should always be on the ballot, right? I should always be eyeing for the number one spot. And, fuck it, right? Like, go for broke. What do you got to lose, right? Besides your life, of course, because the city of Wayne will, they'll come help you out for good, when the time serves them, right? So I don't know, guys. I'm just one man wrecking crew, right? Trying to do what I can, and hopefully it's enough. Hopefully, someone will take initiative and act accordingly and legally, lawfully, right? Of course, as always. Because the thing is like I've been a law-abiding citizen my whole life, and I have overwhelmingly followed the law, and nobody deserves what happened to me, but especially me. I really didn't deserve what happened to me on May 9th and May 19th and July 5th and July 10th and all those bond hearings and all those other dates, right? Get the ROA and give you the exact dates, right? But give you a better picture, but it's still not telling you the full story. As the city of Wayne, the way they narrate, right? They're very vague and ambiguous when they want to be, and then they're very specific and detailed when they want to be. It's quite amazing to watch. Watch your six because of Bug Eyes. He had that look to violate someone. Oh yeah, well Bug Eyes, that's why he's, Bug Eyes is the reason why he's in where he's at. Bug Eyes strong, right? Strong Bug Eyes. He's in that position for a reason, right? Because he will do whatever they tell him to do, right? He did whatever Lisa Nocerini told him to do, and he'll do whatever, anybody, right, for that matter. Anybody on the council, any department head, right? He'll do what he's told, and he's very, very dangerous, right? Because he'll, he's like I said, like so many other cops, right? They try to portray this image of, they're the good guys, and they're just part of the community, and this is where they live and work and operate and shit and breathe and spend every waking moment, right? That's the image they portray. But as we all know, it's all complete and utter horseshit, and most people that seek those positions of power, they're some of the most vile human beings walking among us. And how do I know that? Well, I have a master's in organizational psychology, for one. I got a plethora of life experience, for two. And I don't know, I've seen too much, right? I sat in the back seat too long, right? My uncle used to say. So my black uncle, Gary Maurice McFarland, rest in peace. From Flint, Michigan, Dort Highway, Beecher, right? Beecher nigga. So Beecher nigga was, he was very influential in my formative years. And so, my black uncle, my black KKK uncle, as my good friend Christian Big Sauce Walker, he was a gentleman that I met at Georgia Military College. Blacker than, he's not that dark, but, he's a street nigga. He'll tell you straight up, without hesitation, what he is. And I don't know, I've always gotten along with him because of his brutal honesty. And, I really appreciate that in a human being, people that are just honest, right? And, Big Sauce Christian Walker, shout out to him. And we, shout out to his mom too. Shout out to his whole family, good people. Albany, Georgia. There's people trying to make it in this crazy world, like we're all trying to. But yeah, I mean, it's just, you know, I'm attracted to people that'll call a spade, and a cunt, and a bitch, and, you know, a gay nigga, right? We appreciate that very much. Just don't overdo it, right? But definitely we appreciate that, right? Because in a world of deceit, you know, delusions, and denial, that is a welcome change of pace. So, you know, we definitely welcome it. You know, definitely want to see people speak the fucking truth and not, you know, hold back and filter and, you know, lie and, you know, cheat and steal, right? Because that's ultimately what I see in the city of Wayne. I see a lot of lying, cheating, and stealing, right? And I don't see character above all. I see the opposite of character above all. And I see a lot of toleration of bullshit, you know, culture and, you know, standards, right? And I don't know, man. I just kind of get tired of looking at it. You know, it's kind of like looking at a big ass mole with a hair growing on it. You know, like you just kind of get tired of looking at it, and eventually you want to pluck the hair and you want to freeze off the fucking mole, and you know, it's necessary from time to time, right? Unfortunately, somebody's got to be the wrecking ball. Someone's got to be the bull, right? Someone's got to come in and, you know, wreck everything, and then, you know, whoever wants to be the cleanup guy can be the cleanup guy. But, you know, we got work to do. We got shit to do, and, you know, we've got to, like I said, start thinking a little bit broader and a little bit more introspectively, right? And kind of like, hey, what are we really trying to accomplish here? And you know, I know what people want. I mean, you can just ask them; they'll tell you. It doesn't take very long to figure it out, right? I mean, they, like most people, right? If they're saying they want lower taxes and less government and less regulation and more freedom and more liberty and, you know, more ordinances that protect their rights, you know, that's cool, right? Ordinances that protect them from the government, that's fucking even better. You know, but it's like, you know, they want a government that works for them, right? First of all, if it's even going to exist, right, it needs to work for them. And it definitely needs to suit them, right? And it needs to satisfy them and meet their standards, right? I mean, we can't meet anybody's standard, you know, unless you're just a bootlicker, right? I mean, there's some bootlickers, right, that just want to be, they want to be NPCs kind of in the background, right? They want to have their 3 minutes or whatever. But then there's some people that just say fuck it, right? And, you know, let's like, let's talk about this, let's talk about that, you know, let's address something of consequential, you know, impact, right? We want people to feel like they're involved. We want people to feel like their opinion and their input matters. But we want it to actually matter, though. We don't want it to just be lip service. You know, we want it to have some merit. You know, and we believe that's possible. I mean, 6 square miles. I mean, what, 5,000 households. I mean, it's not completely and utterly hopeless, but maybe it is. I don't know. Maybe it is, but maybe it's not. But yeah, BK, have it your way, guys. Love that short you just released. Yeah, I mean, I tried to pull my inner Joshua Abrams, AFA, Accountability for All. Tried to pull that out of my ass and summon how would Josh Abrams phrase this? The Liberty Boner, right? Summon the Liberty Boner and make it make it felt, right? Make it felt and heard and seen, and right. We want them to feel it. We definitely want the liberty boner, right? I mean, we want to. Oh shit. Yeah, we want the boner of liberty, the boner of accountability to be felt. You know, we want it to be felt. We want it to be inserted firmly with no lube, and when they least expect it, and as often as humanly fucking possible. And yes, the fucking is necessary because, you know, there's really nothing more important than our constitutional rights, guys. There's really not. I mean, there's really nothing more important than stress testing our rights, and, you know, just in general, not allowing, you know, I'm going to have to say it, nigga bullshit, right? Jogger bullshit, shenanigans, chicanery. I mean, you know, we don't have the money, we don't have the luxury of, you know, continuing, you know, malicious prosecutions and, you know, getting shit wrong and not acting upon probable cause, right? Because that's the city of Wayne's biggest problem. Their biggest problem is they don't teach probable cause and they don't enforce it. You know, they have this pattern of wanting to, you know, they want to punish people for, you know, speaking up, speaking out, and, you know, saying what they want to say, right? They obviously, I mean, look up Abraham Hughes, look up Mark Blackwell versus Noserini, look up City of Wayne versus Anthony Miller, and Anthony Miller versus City of Wayne, and then look at the murder of John Zook Jr., right? Just look at those and you'll see a clear pattern, right? Abraham Hughes was, you know, basically the acting chief of police, and he was supposed to get the position, and, you know, they gave it to shitbag Ryan Strong, right? Because shitbag Ryan Strong agreed to prosecute Mark Blackwell. And like I said, then they had, you know, like I said, they got Finley Carter, who was a lieutenant at the time, right? Finley Carter III, excuse me, right? You know how I feel about that piece of shit. So Finley Carter III decides to what? Maliciously, retaliatorily prosecute Mark Blackwell without probable cause, right? So that's the big thing here is probable cause just never existed, right? It couldn't have existed, right? I mean, no reasonable person would have thought it would exist, but the city of Wayne is, like I said, they're never underestimate the retardedness of the department heads in Wayne. Never underestimate it. Because it is, it's wild shit. It's wild shit, guys. Wild shit. And all I've done is be a catalyst and a provocateur, right? All I've been is basically a catalyst and a lightning rod provocateur for their woeful incompetence, right? I'm like a lightning rod, right? And their you know, Michael Bosnick and the city of Wayne's vindictiveness, and, you know, everything just, it catches up to you, right? I mean, it should, right? And that's what how the legal system should work. Thank God Placus was, you know, halfway decent, halfway fair judge. I mean, certainly hard. I mean, certainly, you know, let the city of Wayne hang themselves and let them have whatever they wanted, right? I mean, the more malicious the prosecution, the better, right? And so, Plagueis gave the city of Wayne what they wanted, right? The city of Wayne wanted, and they got what they wanted. And I guess come to find out, it wasn't what they really wanted. Hey, Bosnick, he didn't look too happy. He didn't look too fucking happy, guys. He did not look too happy. I mean, he hasn't looked happy since March 19th. I mean, Bozic knows he's cooked. As he should know he's fucking cooked. They had lost their soul. No, that was Councilman Donald Quarles. No, he's a councilman. He's a loudmouth. He's up for re-election. Hopefully he fucking is off the council. He's a wannabe tough guy. A wannabe cop. Yeah, he's a wannabe tough guy. They have lost their soul. Oh, no, they lost that a long time ago. They lost that when they decided to not release the body camera footage of the murder of John Zook Jr. I mean, that was like, you know, when Eric Clearyman, right, who his old lady sent me, I mean, thousands of messages, 99% of them unresponded to. But she sent me, I mean, I had to block her. I mean, there were so many. And so I learned some not so flattering things about Mr. Clearyman, but I never had a problem with the guy. I know his baby mama, you know, I know baby mamas talk shit and all that, but yeah, he was the only one that had any decency, which is just mind-blowing. It's mind-blowing when someone who I know of who, you know, decent guy, right? Definitely got some demons and skeletons in his closet. But don't we all, right? To be fair. But his are pretty weird. But, you know, he's the arbiter of morality in Wayne, right? He was the only one that was like, hey, you know, clearly this family, these people should get their body camera. And of course, the city of Wayne is, you know, too cowardly. Because, of course they are, right? No, that was Donald Quarles, though. Yeah, he's red like Larry the Lobster. Because, see, quite frankly, a lot of these people that run for council, they just have shit genetics. And, like, I don't know. I mean, I hate to say that they're genetically inferior people, but, I mean, clearly developmentally, something didn't develop with some of these people because, I mean, it's like, I feel like when I go in there, it's like a room of psychopaths. All right. I feel uneasy when I go in there. Like I'm just surrounded by demons. I'm just surrounded by like not good people. Like it's like satanic, right? It's I don't get good vibes if I guess if you know what I mean. For lack of a better word, because this fucking Whopper is amazing. Yeah, I mean, there's no competition. McDonald's sucks. Wendy's sucks. Burger King is fucking. Put put on the Burger King crown and you can say whatever you want, right? You can drop hard R, soft A, anything you want. Everyone saw the airplane video. The Burger King meme guy. Everybody agreed with him, right? Yeah, it's not bad. Pretty fucking good. I ain't gonna lie, guys. Yeah, they just don't like the embarrassment. You know, they want to come on my property and embarrass me and fucking humiliate me and fuck, dude. Yeah, they want to interfere with my rights and shit, and I won't let them anymore. Well, I never did, but, you know. They can only do so much before they gotta kill me, guys. I mean, it's like, are they gonna take the L and just accept it? Are they gonna take this L? I doubt it, right? I doubt they're gonna take this L, like, willingly, like they're supposed to. About, I don't think so. I don't think so. I think it's gonna be more retaliatory, malicious, vindictive bullshit, right? I don't know. I guess they never dealt with someone that's just not going to back down. Like, I don't know. They never met somebody with the resolve that I have. I don't know. Is that a way to word it? Yeah, I mean, like literally, guys, I tried to like warn the city of Wayne, right? Months like back in June, no, back in May, right? On 25, like after they started doing all their bullshit. Um, I pointed out to them really early, like, hey, there's no ordinance here, guys. These ordinances are repealed. Like, you don't have any legal basis to even be on my property. And as far as like obscene telecommunications, it's like, yeah, that's a joke, dude. I mean, you just violated the fuck out of my rights, and I don't have a right to call you. I don't have a right to redress my grievances. Like, says who? Right? And given a conditional statement is not a true threat, right? Saying like, hey, if you continue to come on my property and violate my rights, there's going to be an issue. That's not a true threat. Right? No one said, "Oh, I'm gonna go shoot firemen for no reason or fire personnel or I never threatened to shoot anybody, right? What I said was like, hey, you've trespassed several times and you continue to do it and it's illegal, and I'm threatened by it and I'm intimidated by it, and it exacerbates my post-traumatic stress disorder." Right. So like, you know, I was already rated 70% for mental health by the VA and by the military. Um, and legitimately, you know, what's fucked up is like I probably would qualify for the 100% criteria at this fucking point, which, you know, I don't know. I mean, it's a change in my condition for the worst, and you know, it's fucking horrifying, dude. It's absolutely horrifying. It's like just a VCR in my head. I just get to rewatch it and relive it over and over, right? All the days in jail and, you know, all the time away from my family because, I mean, literally just because, hey, you know, somebody wanted it. Somebody wanted it that way, or a group of somebody's, right? They think they're somebody's. They're really not anything. But yeah, a group of nobodies will, you know, conspire and get together and, you know, play dumb and act like, you know, what is he talking about? None of it's related, and none of it's which is fucking crazy. Just a crazy argument. Because I mean, this shit happened in such a short period of time, so quickly, you know, and it's all, you know, conveniently, well, luckily, I guess it's all involving property issues, right? It's all involving property issues, right? I mean, we're talking from literally a month after I moved in, we have, you know, the first break in, right? And then, you know, a month later, I have, you know, basically got frauded out of money by the City of Wayne Building and Engineering Department, their ordinance office, whatever you want to call them, the Building and Engineering Office, right? Which is the fire department at the same time. So I don't know, it's kind of confusing, but yeah, they sent Inspector Gregory out to my house and charged me for an inspection, and I don't see any evidence that they did an inspection. I mean, you didn't check the ledger board. There's no report. So, I mean, basically got frauded, right? I got defrauded by the city of Wayne. Um, and then, you know, after I, you know, pointed out, you know, they immediately sent the contractor back out there, right? So obviously what I was saying was factually accurate, which of course, you know, I got a structural engineer to, you know, come out and do a report and what he saw and observed. And, you know, clearly he observed a subpar product, you know, let me put it that way. And, you know, a few nails in a ledger board that's attached to your fucking house, you know, your kitchen floor, probably bad, right? Probably not, you know, sufficient, right? A couple of nails, right? For the fucking, I don't know. How much does an entire deck weigh, right? I mean, thousands of pounds, right? So, I don't know, kind of a big deal, right? Structurally speaking, right? So, imagine if you were missing, like, you're supposed to have 5 posts, right? Some pillars holding your deck up, and you have 2 instead of 5, right? I mean, or you have 1 or 2 missing, right? Or 3 missing, or 4 missing. I mean, you know, you see what I'm saying? Like, you know, it doesn't, you don't need to be an engineer to, you know, say, hey, you know, the board that's attached to the house that's also attached to the deck, the ledger board, pretty important thing, right? Pretty, you know, kind of like the most important thing, right? Actually. So, all the indications were that I was defrauded out of an inspection or inspections. I paid for 2 inspections and I got a report for none of them. And of course, none of the damages and none of the deficiencies were notated, which were obvious, right? They were abundantly fucking obvious, right? So for that to just be, you know, just fucking omitted or oopsie, right? I mean, that was just okay. So that's strike 2, right? So here we're in April, right? April, and then we're in May of 24, and then we're having issues, right? We're having more, you know, things that I don't know what else happened. June of 24, they murdered John Zook. So then it's like, okay, I get to look at that, um, and what a horrible thing that was. And then I just get to watch the shit show ensue. And then, of course, I'm the victim of it several more times. I, have trying to think off the top of my head. I'm really kind of getting tired and I'm gonna go to sleep soon. But, um, the parking enforcement, right? They started sicking Brandon Braun on me, right? And my sidewalk, right? That's what I was trying to remember. The sidewalk in front of my house, right? That had been broken for over a year apparently, and they're very reactive, not proactive, right? The city of Wayne, they tend to be right, reactive and not at all proactive, and that's a problem. Department head speaking wise, various city departments seem to operate kind of the same way. They kind of operate the same way, it appears. So, and then guy slips and falls. So they make me liable for the sidewalk, and then they refuse to fix the sidewalk. So guy falls in the little rascal guy on a fucking scooter falls in there, tips over. Real awesome, real good shit, right? Good safety first, right, guys? Yeah. So it's just basically having problems from day one. And then obviously when they murdered John Zook Jr., that was a problem. And then, started going to city council, asking questions, and then, it just all became a problem. And I don't know, just here we are, right? January, we're talking January of 25, right? I start getting cited, right? Final notice taped on my mailbox. Move your car out of your driveway, or you're going to jail, or you were taking your car or something, right? Abate it, or we're gonna remove it, basically. Steal your property, take it away from your house, right? Or charge you money and a fine and a fee. Real nice, right? We got dirt roads all over Wayne. We got Whitney Knoll right behind me here, all dirt road. We got 3rd and 4th Street. The beginning or the end of those, however you're looking at it, right? They're both dirt roads, and yet people park all over them. People park in the grass. People park in fucking gravel, dirt driveways. There was even a guy that had a grass driveway. I think it was on the end of 4th Street, right by the tracks, right? And so, parking all throughout the public street, and then the city of Wayne's like, hey, you're not allowed to park on your limestone parking pad. And you're like, oh, okay, well, what about all this? Well, crickets, right? Crickets. Imagine that. Imagine that. Just try to imagine that, right? Imagine that. So, yeah, I mean, there's a litany list of things I still have to do. Dozens of things I have to do, and I have to write out a list. I got to go get some sleep and write out a list and, get some shit done around the house. I mean, luckily I have time, right? I have a little bit of time, but I don't really. So, I don't know. I mean, I got all these ROAs here, and I got all this paperwork that isn't complete and isn't done, and this is right here. Disorderly conduct, right? Of course, it's still missing. Right, this is the one that they gave to me. What was it, a couple days ago? Most recent one, right after the hearing on April 30th. Right. Still omits Jermaine Warwick's, appearance and demands, right? Motion, right? Because he was the attorney for that, so kind of strange, But of course, these are on the 3 acquitted charges, or the 2, I guess. Well, 2 of them, I don't know. It's all confusing, but there's 4 charges on my iChat, or 4 arrest, segments on my background, but I got charged, I guess, with 5, or arrested for 5 charges, for 5 offenses supposedly, but I only see 4 arresting, So I don't know. I mean, it was weird, right? Being charged with 5 things, but you're only seeing 4 things on your background. Nothing in the charging section. Not really telling the accurate story of how many charges were disposed of, which were, fuck, I mean, at least a dozen, right? Charges that were disposed of. Seemed like at least a half a dozen. A lot, right? We have ROAs for 3 of them. And then we got a transcripts that tell a whole different story than the ROA, I'll tell you that. So, I mean, if we had our transcripts long ago, we would be so much further along, right? And that was just, that was the tactic that the city of Wayne, continued to deploy, right? Was to prevent meaningful appellate review and prevent access to transcripts, right? To delay and, to try to kill your momentum. Yeah, I mean, they're evil people, man. They're really, they don't play by the rules. They don't fight fair, and yeah, but this is the interference charge, right? The one that got disposed of or acquitted, whatever you call it. Yeah, no, no mention of 62525, right? Miscellaneous action, right? Wow, so descriptive, right? Miscellaneous action. Warwick, retained attorney. Okay, well, he had a 2-page motion, right? He had an appearance and demands motion. And appearance and demands for what? Well, discovery, right? Which, of course, the city omitted. It's still omitted, actually. So technically, we would have to file another motion and have the court administrator go back to court. Or I guess she can maybe informally correct this. I mean, hopefully. I mean, I don't know. I mean, we have no issue submitting it. But we'll give her a chance to fix it. She, I don't want to assume too much. But, yeah, these 2 files right here. Obscene threat phone calls and then interfere with police or fire. Those both have Attorney Warwick's demands omitted, right? Which demand for discovery, right? Which is like basically a motion to compel discovery. So that's kind of a key detail, right? Especially when a preservation order was ultimately ordered by the judge on March 19th of 2026. So in the interest of justice, right? Of course, that's what it says. So kind of a big deal. And then of course, the section where they supposedly fixed, let's see here. Yeah, 9/3/25. Defendant's motion to compel heard and granted, right? That's what they added, right? Well, motion to compel what, right? Discovery, right? They don't want to mention the word discovery, and impose Brady sanctions, Giglio sanctions. You notice that language is missing as well, because that motion was heard and denied, but it should still be referenced in here. Right, Brady and Giglio sanctions, and then also the order to grant and command the preservation of evidence, right, which was granted, right, or at least should be referenced in the ROA, because ultimately it was granted, it was ordered, and that's conveniently missing as well. So all they did was they didn't really do much of anything. All they did was put defendant motion to compel heard granted, miscellaneous action. But it has right here, motion for judge recusal and prosecutor disqual denied, right? Attorney motion to withdraw granted. Amend bond to include house at arrest at 9555 Middle Belt Road. Go live in a crack hotel. Receive multiple motions from defendant motion to compel heard and granted. Well, where's all these multiple motions at? Well, motion to impose Brady and Giglio sanctions, right? Kind of important, right? Because now now this is becoming a Brady issue. Well, and a Giglio issue. So that needs to be, referenced, right? Obviously, if the other shit's referenced, well, logically, why wouldn't that be referenced as well? So, that is just weird, right? So, not really fixed it at all. I mean, hardly, right? Of course, they're gonna try to argue, oh, but I'll give her, like I said, I'll go down there and I'll give her a chance to make it right, and we'll see what she does. And if she doesn't, then obviously we'll file another motion, and then she can go back to court and explain why the ROA is still defective. And yeah, I mean, because we have this order right here, right, signed by Judge Plakas, March 19th, 2026, order granting and commanding the preservation of evidence. So, that's important, right? Which it is referenced, and but it's not referenced really. I mean, the way it's referenced is, again, same pattern here, guys. I'll show you the reference, how they word it, the verbiage, and it's very vague when it wants to be, and very descriptive when it benefits them. When it benefits them, it's very specific and descriptive. But when it benefits me, it's vague and hard to find, and written as if it's just doesn't, or it's miscellaneous, right? Miscellaneous. Let's see here. Proceeding held. Plakas. Let's see here. Supplemental sentencing per Judge Plakas. Waived non-statutory find. Plakas to draft order. Discovery motion. It doesn't even use the word discovery. It says D-I-S-C. Disc. They don't want to use the word discovery. Discovery motion. Okay. So, received order grant and preserving evidence drafted by Judge Plakas. Okay. And then this one's right here. Read this one. Tell me how this makes any logical sense. Proceeding held. All accounts. Judge Plakas, James A. Received motion and order for destruction of biometric data. Defendant's motions heard. Motions denied, except as to Moyon, M-O-I-O-N, so this is where they spell motion wrong, to correct ROA. So, motions denied except as to motion to correct ROA. Plaintiff motion heard and denied. Motion, destruction of biodata filed and granted. Okay, so the ROA was granted and the biodata was granted. The destruction of the biodata and the motion to correct ROA was granted. So I don't know how that's only one. And then I don't know, the whole thing, the way it's written like to give you, it's like written to induce a stroke. And like I said, it's very specific, very detailed, right? When it suits the city, right? But when it benefits me, right, the defendant, then it becomes vague and, like I said, right? Because this is the original motion right here, guys. This is the original motion, which I'll read it to you. Right? Defendant's motion to compel discovery, enter preservation order, and impose Brady and Giglio sanctions. Right? So this right here is what this discovery preservation order is based upon. Right? This was not even referenced in the ROA until after April 30th, right? Until the last hearing that we had. And of course, it doesn't reference, well, motion to compel what? Well, motion to compel discovery, right? Enter preservation order, right? That's another key thing that's omitted, still omitted, right? Enter preservation order. Well, that's, a motion to enter a preservation order, that's kind of a big deal. And to impose Brady/Giglio sanctions, right? So again, right, that's something that if those were denied or granted, they should still be referenced, right? Obviously. And the word discovery is not even one time in any ROA. It's DISC one time, disc. right? Which, again, they'll spell out words in great detail when it benefits and suits them, but when it doesn't, boy, oh boy, you got to look with a fucking microscope, with a telescope, right, to find anything. So here's the introduction. Now comes defendant Vincent A. McFarland Sr. in propria persona and moves this court to compel full discovery, enter a comprehensive preservation order, and impose sanctions for the prosecution's suppression and spoliation of material evidence. The record already shows that the city's May 9, 2025 multi-officer incursion generated no police report, a fact admitted by Deputy Chief Finley Carter on video. There's no police report. Body-worn camera, CAD, dispatch audio, radio traffic, and command notes for key dates have not been produced. These failures are not administrative oversights. They are a continuing pattern of concealment in a case premised on a repealed ordinance 1278 and 4 warrantless entries into the curtilage of defendant's home. Due process in Michigan court rules require immediate relief. Legal standard MCR 6.201A obligates the prosecutor to disclose police reports, witness statements, and tangible objects the prosecutor intends to introduce at trial and those material to the defense. MCR 6.201B12 requires disclosure of information known to the prosecution or police that is exculpatory or impeaching. Brady versus Maryland 373 U.S. 83 1963 and Giglio versus United States 405 U.S. 150 1972 mandate disclosure of favorable evidence, including impeachment material. Suppression violates due process. Kyles versus Whitley 514 U.S. 419 1995 clarifies the prosecutor's duty to learn of any favorable evidence known to police and to disclose it. People versus Chenault 495 Michigan 142 2014 adopts Brady, Giglio, and Michigan. Evidence is material where time is a reasonable probability of a different result. Right? So, in other words, like, the fact that your whole police department's on video showing and demonstrating that there is no police report, failing to find one, that's kind of, key impeachment. It's impeachable material. That's, exculpatory material. So Arizona versus Youngblood 488 U.S. 51 1988 recognizes due process remedies for destruction, failure to preserve evidence, particularly where bad faith is shown. Where misconduct undermines fundamental fairness, Michigan courts may dismiss. People versus Dawson 431 Michigan 234 1988. Factual background and discovery failures. March 28, 2024, officers entered defendant's curtilage and interfered with a lawful burn without notice or report. No body-worn camera, CAD, or documentation has been produced. Defendant was charged with interfering tied to enforcement of repealed Ordinance 1278. Records substantiating the repealed chronologically internal guidance and open burn policy remain outstanding, right? So, again, that's in a preservation order. A multi-officer operation, Sherman, Elzabadi, Carter, and others occurred at defendant's home. Deputy Chief Carter stated on video, there is no police report, no CAD, dispatch audio, radio logs, command notes, or body-worn camera files have been produced. July 5th, 2025, another warrantless entry and arrest as a conditional bond violation. No body-worn camera, CAD, dispatch, radio materials have been produced. These dates align with 4 separate curtilage intrusions in service of a phantom ordinance followed by criminal charges for interference, quote unquote. Scope of discovery to be compelled. This defendant requests a written order compelling production within 7 days of the following. So, yeah, I mean, this is where it all comes from, guys. This is where it all comes from. Yeah, I mean, so that's where this, they put this one in, right? This is a whole separate motion, right? This one is listed, right? This one's always been listed, right? Because I guess because the judge denied it, so it was favorable to them, right? But this one, right? Well, all of this language is still technically missing. This whole motion is a motion that we have to. We're gonna bring it up to the court administrator. We're gonna give her 48 hours. We're gonna give her until Friday. We're gonna give her until Friday to, to jog her memory. What?
If you will, think you'll be able to pick me up from work later?
Huh?
If you will, think you'll be able to pick me up from work later?
Never say never, right? I mean, a nigga can dream, can he?
I'm just asking, bro. But all right, I gotta get out of my way.
Shit. But yeah, so the problem with the ROA is it's still not corrected. And this is, like I said, this is why, because again, it doesn't have any reference to defendant's motion to compel discovery, right? Motion to compel heard and granted. Okay, well, compel what, right? That tells us nothing. Well, discovery. Enter preservation order. That was also, here's the preservation order right here, right? So I don't know. I mean, that's kind of key information. And then impose Brady Giglio sanctions, which were never, I guess. I mean, I don't know. I mean, it seems like the ROA is still not right, and it still needs to be corrected. But hopefully, like I said, hopefully we can avoid, because I'd love to avoid having to, go back to court, but, I have to also protect the record and, what's up, Joe? My nigga Joe. Joe Blow. Joe Blow, who does not like the homos. No. 2 polls is a no-go. It's a no-go. Right? That's definitely a no-go. A pole in a man's butthole, that's a no-go too. We can do better than that as a society, guys, Like I said, you can criticize Christianity all you want. Judeo-Christian values and, ideals, but God, at least with the Christians in charge, right, you're not going to have a bunch of that shit running around. Which, of course, is just a horrible thought. Just an absolute horrible thought. It's a horrible thought just to even have to deal with it. Who's the gangsters, Joe? Who's the gangsters? What, you don't like the gangsters? I don't know what you mean. Talking about the police, gangsters. Yeah, I'm not a big fan either. Not a whole lot to be a fan of, right? Like I want to be a fan, right? I mean, I'd love to. I'd love to be a bootlicker of, you know, if the police was worth bootlicking for, you know, if they did like real work, like I'd bootlick them. Now, not to the extent that some of these people do, but hey, you know, you do some good shit consistently without, you know, without it being some, you know, award defining, like it's just something you do and you just shrug it off and you do it. And you know, I want to believe in this unicorn, right? This mythical, you know, public servant, right? Of what, fucking centuries past, right? Yeah, I want to believe that that genotype still exists and it's in the room among us, right? But I mean, I don't see it. I really don't fucking see it. Oh, them gangsters? Yeah, they're not really gangsters though. They're just, like I said, old boomers. They're boomers, and you know, Darwich, she's probably not a boomer, but just a juicer, juice head, you know. Juice Monkey. It's a good name for him. Juice Monkey. Kind of looks like one too. He's got that steroid freak, you know, shoulders and traps, right? And yeah, I mean, it's a shit show. Do you have two phones? I could just call them demons. Yeah, they definitely are. Do I have two phones? I have more than two phones actually. I really don't use them like I should, but yeah, I have more than two phones. For sure. Wow, what's up? What's up? Yeah, I mean, see, like, I don't know. I mean, my life's not that exciting, and like I said, the city of Wayne wants to surveil me, and you know, I don't know. I have to check and see. Do they have a warrant? Do they have a surveillance warrant? Like, you know, we will see. I'm sure they got some more tricks up their sleeve, right? But I don't know. I mean, the petition, the false petition, that was kind of that was really boneheaded, right? I mean, that was really just not appropriate at all, and you know, didn't put any real effort into it, right? Which, again, if you're gonna, you know, falsely petition somebody, at least put a little effort into it, right? Because otherwise, fuck, dude. I mean, what are you doing, dude? So if you take it on its face, I mean, there's a lot of issues with the city of Wayne's actions and their antics, and you know, put in free police scanner and pick the orange and black one app. Okay, will do. What's up with the two phones question though? Are you gonna hack the RainBat mainframe? Are you gonna hack the mainframe and, you know, Porter Dubs? I don't know. Free police scanner app. Okay, and then what do I pick in? Because you could do it now and turn it on. And we could also listen to the scanner. A lot of crime out there tonight. Ooh, spooky, baby. What kind of crime? Property crime? Some dude beat his wife, kicked his dog, pissed on his girlfriend. What happened? Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I have my phone. It's charging though. All of the above. Damn. That's crazy. Well, I tell you what, I will definitely check that out, good sir. And you know, we'll we're gonna get in the zone, auto zone. We're gonna get in the zone. Auto zone. Yeah, I guess JD Vance targeted. Supposedly. Shooter taken out by Secret Service. It's like 2 assassination attempts in 1 week. Two people murdered at the White House. I need to invest in one of those e-bikes. Yeah, go to Sierra. SIERRA. I use my discount, so you get 10%. I can buy it for you and just give me the cash. But yeah, they had a sick one that was like $300 to it, and it was like originally like 2 Gs. And man, I should have grabbed it, but I don't have space for it, or I would have. But I should have grabbed it anyways, because it was sick, dude. It was fucking sick. Cheap, cheap, cheap. Yeah, those e-bikes are sick, dude. Yeah, you can really get the jump on the popos with one of those. You can get to the scene first before anybody, for sure. Especially, you can get a good police scanner. That's what we need, dude. We need to get a police scanner. Police scanners and some e-bikes. Oh, fuck. Fuck yeah, dude. Walking sucks, especially on those streets. Especially on those fucking streets. Because, see, Wayne's big enough. You need a car. You need some quicker way of getting around than on foot. And, yeah, the roads are too shit to skate or to, inline skate or skateboard. And that's marginally better than walking. But, yeah, the e-bike or the scooter. But the e-bike is where it's at, dude. The e-bike is money. So I've heard. I usually walk from Bamboard down Wayne Road to Michigan Ave. I'll take Michigan Ave to Vinoy, and either I'll go all the way down to Merriman or I'll go down Illinois, then Glenwood back up Wayne. Illinois to Wayne, Memorial, it don't matter. I walk this whole city. Yeah, you're a bad motherfucker, dude. I mean, I step in a pothole, bro. I mean, I go out on Glover Street, bro. See, I talk about it and they fix it, bro. See, I'm already the mayor, bro. I'm already the fucking mayor here, taking a shit. And, yeah, so I started bitching about Elsa Zamora's property, right? Because they cut down this stump. They left it, right? A bunch of fucking big-ass splinters, right? All crooked and unevenly cut. And just a death trap for a kid waiting to happen. And, yeah, I started bitching about it the other day, and lo and behold, right, they were replacing the sidewalk too, and replacing the sidewalk too, and man, because they were just gonna leave the sidewalk, right? They left the stump like that and left the sidewalk, put a little asphalt over it, called it a day, and then old Daddy Vince had to start bitching up a storm, and then now all of a sudden, boom, now the sidewalk's getting done. Now they're digging it up. Now they're gonna grade it properly. Now they're, then we start taking the stump out. Now they took the stump out, right? So, I mean, that's cool, right? But, the proactiveness, right? It's be more appropriate than all this reactive bullshit, right? And they're only doing that because, they don't want to face the wrath of the Liberty Shaft. So they gotta, continue perpetrate their narrative, right? Their narrative of, you know, they're the shit and we're just little bitches bitching. And obviously it's much more than that. Much more than that going on here. But yeah, you know, I mean, I'm glad I could get some shit done, right? I'm glad that my words have more impact than, you know, it shouldn't be, right? It shouldn't be that way, but, you know, I also couldn't get anything done until she had me do a little advocating for her, and then lo and behold, look at that, guys. They have gotten it fixed because they didn't want me to have to do the, you know, 'cause I started the stump grinding. I got about halfway done with it. I used my stump grinder and did a lot yesterday, grinding that stump down, and damn, overfilled my cola. Well, take a closer look at Michigan Ave as you're walking down it. Take a closer look at what? What am I looking at? What am I looking at besides Donald Coral's triple chin? What am I looking at? His triple chin and his red skin. Shit, not much. Ready to blow some shit up. Blow it up, blow it out. Do both at the same time. Blow it up, blow it out. When in doubt, put it in, stick it in, take it out. Don't shout, because it might get you put in the slammer. Let's see here. Take a closer look at Michigan Ave when you're walking down it. I mean, okay. What's it, Michigan Ave? Like 3 miles in Wayne? Officially, yeah, I think so. 6 square miles total. 3 by 2, right? 3 miles by 2 miles. Rectangle. So we will shake hands in heaven when we get there. Now we got to walk the valley of death and praise the Lord Jesus Christ, amen, and fear no evil. Yeah, I mean, fuck evil. Which the city of Wayne is evil. Evil department heads. Not all of them, right? Dave Schmidt, right? I think that's his name. He tries. You know, I'm sure there's at least one redeemable person, right? I mean, you can't have like all evil people in a room. I mean, a lot of evil people, but not in total, entirely. You know, there's some people more sane than others, right? Some people are just batshit crazy and, you know, willing to fucking take the ship down with them, right? And take everybody with them and fuck who it causes mayhem to and destruction to and all the collateral damage, right? But yeah, you know, we got our boy over here. He's about to go bomb diggity, bomb, because that's how we roll here at 377. Oh, can't tell you the rest, but you can probably figure it out. It's a small world out there, guys. Smaller than my penis, which is microscopic. Microscopic. It ain't even there, guys. How I got kids, well, shit. I don't know. That's a good question. Fantastic question, and I don't have a good answer. So, Think about that. Hermy, though. I was a hermaphrodite, right? Muslim hermaphrodite tranny. Fuck it, why not? More the merrier. The more victim points, the better, people. We'll take a closer look at Michigan Ave. We'll shake hands. Yeah, I hope so. The holes in the road you can see underneath the concrete slabs, I would think they need to be fixed. I mean, yeah, that's probably right. Yeah, the roads, I mean, that's the least of the problems, right? Like, I could put up with shitty roads. That's just kind of Michigan par for the course, right? But I mean, shitty roads combined with dog shit, everything else. I mean, at least we got trash pickup, right? We got trash pickup. I guess that's obviously a good thing. That's one of the good things. One of the few good things. Although it's priority, and they fucked my mailbox up a couple days ago. Hit that motherfucker. Had to replace that and took all day to do it. But hey, they're gonna look into it with their camera. So they say. So hey, I'm like, all right, well, let's see it, you bad motherfucker. You bad motherfucker. Let's see it. Let's see your amazing technology. Fuck that with the amount of taxes we pay. We need to fix it all. Yeah, I mean, ideally in a perfect world. I mean, I agree. See, my standards aren't that high. My standards aren't that high. I just want the government to follow the law. I know it's crazy. I want to be able to afford name brand Doritos, not Walmart brand. What? Even though Doritos suck now because they don't have any seasoning, but you get my point. Why is it Redford can afford to pay shitty workers? Priorities. I mean, because we can't do anything right. Why? Well, that's a question that would have to be answered from the inside out. A lot of observation needs to be, if you look at shit from the inside out, which of course they're going to be very cautious about being around me because they know, which is weird because if the city of Wayne would just stop fucking with me, there wouldn't be, don't start nothing, there won't be nothing, right? I told them that from day one, the whole time. Don't start nothing, there won't be nothing. But, easier said than done, I guess. Well, it's because we don't prioritize our budget properly. We don't, you know. I mean, we're running 2 million the whole, right? On the books, right? So, I mean, imagine it's obviously worse than that. Yeah, I mean, I'll give the people what they want. If allowed to, if it's possible. I mean, obviously, poop. See, I want to be able to afford regular Doritos again, right?
Yeah.
And not the great value. But I mean, $1 versus $6. I mean, I'll put up with something.
Yeah.
When they're fresh, they're not that bad.
I'm good for you anyway.
You have to make friends with some of your enemies, otherwise no one will be willing to work with you to get things done. I mean, yeah, but that's the thing, like, I don't just have enemies with people for no reason, right? It's not like, oh, well, I just sat here and go, well, I'm gonna make enemies today, right? It's like, no, what happens is people trespass against me. And then, of course, I have to respond, right? So, yeah, I mean, I think with, new council members, right? Hopefully 3 new ones at least, right? Hopefully 3 new ones. And if we can get 3 new ones, then I'm sure we can all fucking be friends. Well, we don't need to be friends as much as, just being able to set differences aside for, to pass shit and to do shit that makes sense, right? Things that aren't overtly complicated, and things that can benefit the majority of people, right? The vast majority of people. Kill 'em with kindness, yeah. I mean, ideally, but, not everybody, has the tolerance or the patience, right? And it's hard, dude. It's hard to deal with it. It's hard to deal with these crazy ass motherfuckers, right? Bad enough, you gotta look at them, right? Seen but not heard, right? You gotta see them and hear them. And then listen to Diane Webb's $197,000 plan, which is, I mean, retarded on its face, right? Crackhead Alley, right? Yeah, well, I mean, they're 2 peas in the same pod, right? The police, the fire. I mean, they're all intertwined, right? I mean, there's really no difference, right? They're all in a room together, regularly. And there's far more meetings behind closed doors that you don't even know about. That's in this discovery preservation order, by the way, so we could get a real good insight on the city of Wayne. And see it from behind the scenes, right? Because it's one big club and you're not in it, guys. I mean, it's just that simple. And once you realize that, okay, the police, the fire, the building office, building ordinance office, whatever you call it, engineering office, I don't know, you got different terms, different words for the same thing. The DDA, Downtown Development Authority, right? Which, you know, you're given, again, what downtown? But yeah, you combine all that, right, together, city council, city manager, you know, DPW, right? Everything, all right, in its totality. It's all one, it's all, you know, in the same pod, right? It's all same, what, 4 or 5 peas in the same pod here? You know, they all meet, they're all department heads, they're all in cahoots. You know, once you realize that it's literally, you know, the smallest fucking town pretty much imaginable. Yeah, I mean, they're Big Brother's definitely watching, no doubt. Or Little Brother. I guess that's the city of Wayne, Michigan State, Little Brother. That's what they are. They're the Little Brother. But yeah, Little Brother's watching. Again, I don't know why I tickle their fancy so much, but I do. I do. I don't know. I mean, I guess, a sexy man, you know. Whole message disappeared, yeah. Yeah, it's pretty trippy. That's I don't know. I just when you got God on your side, that's the only protection you need, as well as the AR-15, of course. So several AR-15s, several at the same time. Short barrel, long barrel. You know. Who could say no to that? Besides a British cigarette, of course. Don't be a British cigarette, guys. Guess YouTube don't like what I said. Wasn't even bad. Maybe it was anti-Semitic. Right? Anti-Jewish supremacy. You can't do that. But yeah, guys, we'll be in touch real soon. Well, I'm just messing with you. Yeah. Anti-Zionist. You can't be anti-Zionist. But, talk later. Love you guys.